Welcome back to Flash Forward, right here at Comicstorian. My name is Benny, and I'll be your narrator for today. The Flash Forward storyline is showing us what happened to Wally West after Heroes in Crisis. In Heroes in Crisis, Wally was finally dealing with the fact that he didn't have his wife or children due to the timeline being altered. This gave him great depression, which led to him losing control of his powers and eventually killing a lot of people, including his friend Arsenal. He went to prison, but then Tempest Fugonaut, the being in charge of the dark multiverse, showed up to tell him that he had a higher purpose. He is now traveling through the multiverse trying to save these universes from themselves. And on our last cliffhanger, we discovered that his children were still alive somewhere. We just don't know where. If you enjoy this video, please consider subscribing to our channel as we bring you 1 to 2 videos a day about your favorite comic books, video games, and movies. And don't forget to like us, smash that like button so you too don't get lost in the multiverse. Let's continue. Over in the Gotham of Earth 42, hundreds of people plummet into a glowing unknown as the ground splits apart. Wally begins to run through the broken city, catching these people asking, "What the hell is going on?" But before Wally could get an answer, he hears something in the distance whistling as it gets closer. It's at that moment that there's a loud explosion as a giant cruise ship crashes its way through the streets towards the people. Wally begins to relocate the people again, and a man asks if he can save us from them. Wally tells him okay, but he's gonna need some information here before he makes any promises. He needs to know who them is. Before anyone could answer, a deep voice from behind him says, "I am one of the aforementioned them, otherwise known as the Justice League of Vampires." Wally looks back to see a vampiric Superman float down and he asks, "How is this a thing? Why aren't you helping the people falling to the streets?" Superman tells him, "Because my people need to feed." Wally sighs. "Oh, this is gonna get real old. The last Superman I met was the President of the United States. I liked him a whole lot better than you." Wally runs in, jumping and punching the vampire Superman over and over until he flies back into a wooden storage crate. Wally then comes up with a great idea. He certainly can't kill Superman, but he can certainly trap him with a bunch of wooden stakes. Just as Wally begins to finish up at super speed, the vampire Flash of this world runs up shouting, "Soon, the entire world will know the shadows belong to us." Wally asks if it's the real Barry, and the Flash tells him, "I was Barry Allen in a past life." The two speedsters zoom through the city trying to fight one another, but the more they run, the more Wally starts to see things. Barry's head changes into Narcs, then Roy's, two of the individuals that he killed when he lost control of his powers. This can't be real, can it? His mind, his guilt, it's all playing tricks on him. Is this the downside to being unmoored from reality? As Wally snaps out of it, the Flash grabs him by the throat yelling, "It's over!" But before the Flash could snap Wally's neck, there's a thunk, followed by several more thunks. Arrows begin to shoot into the Flash's neck. And as the Flash slowly begins to release his grip from Wally, he tells Wally, "Thank you." And as Wally says, "You're welcome," the Flash's body explodes into dust and a voice asks, "Where did you come from?" Wally looks back to see the Arsenal of this world, telling him, "It's a long story, Roy. Thanks for the help, but what's with all the vampires here?" Arsenal asks him, "What are you talking about? It's been this way as long as I can remember." Arsenal then aims his crossbow at Wally asking, "And how did you know my name?" Wally tells him, "I'm from a different universe?" And Arsenal tells him, "Right. Well, I only hunt the undead, since there's no more undead. Later." As Arsenal jumps down into the alleyway, Wally follows him, telling him, "Maybe I can help you?" Arsenal gets in his car asking, "Is that right? Well, the Justice League of the Undead are feeling particularly sassy tonight. Maybe it has to do with why you're here. Might as well take the fight to Batman himself." Once ready, Wally hops in and asks, "How did all of the heroes in your world turn into vampires? Could it be because of some mysterious black ooze?" And Arsenal tells him that it's more depressing than that. Batman used to be the best of the best, until he decided to become a vampire in order to take down Dracula. Once Batman became a vampire, well, you can guess what happened next. Wally nods, telling him that that sounds uncomfortably like the Batman of his world. And soon the two sneak into the Batcave to find it covered in darkness, leaking out of the dark world that won't die. Arsenal asks if he's supposed to be scared of black lava lamps, and Wally says that the energy can destroy entire worlds, devouring them in minutes. That's what Wally is here to stop. So Arsenal asks, "Are you saying that these lava lamp things aren't gonna pop at the business end of my arrows?" Wally takes out the cosmic staff, and just as he gets ready to release its energy, a batarang flies by, knocking it out of his hand. Vampire Batman lunges out of the ceiling shouting, "I've analyzed this material, and I can use it to sustain an entire world of vampires. No longer will we need to depend on human cattle for sustenance." Arsenal covers Wally, yelling for him to grab the magic stick, but as Wally gets his hands on it, Batman swipes and rips into Arsenal's chest. Wally calls out to Roy as he runs towards Batman. A few seconds later, Batman screams in pain, and Wally vibrates into his heart using his own nuclear reactor. Kids, this is why you never play with nuclear reactors. That should keep him trapped long enough to figure out how to cure you of your vampirism, Batman. But once they've got Batman secure, Wally runs back to Arsenal, telling him to hang on, but Arsenal asks if he's new to this or something. Every time they put on the mask, every time could be their last. Wally says, "No, I failed you again, Roy." Arsenal grabs Wally's hand, telling him, "No, you didn't take away my choice. Live, die, did it all. With my eyes open, Wally West." As Arsenal takes his last breath, Wally holds him, crying over his friend all over again, and Tempest watches from the cosmos, telling himself that over the years, he has done so many unsavory deeds in the name of the Fugonauts. Never has he had to reignite the flame within a hero like this. The next incursion point, Wally finds himself in the middle of Earth 13 and Earth 32. The darkness of these worlds is trying to force the worlds to come together, causing each planet's heroes to fight each other, thinking the other one is the threat. But while the two factions are going at it, Wally finds himself at the mercy of the super demon Etrigan. Etrigan squeezes down, but as he feels his grip slipping, he says, "For my grip, you are vibrating." Wally falls out, telling him that he would love to stick around and hear what he could possibly rhyme that with, but he's got to run. As Wally begins to head to where he dropped the cosmic staff, as he grabs it, a white light speeds by, snatching it from him. Wally looks up to see his wife, Linda, twirling the staff, telling him that he's too slow. No one is faster than light speed. Ignoring everything else, Wally jumps up, grabbing her, shouting, "Linda!" And Linda asks, "Who are you?" Wally shouts, "It's me, the Flash, your husband." She vibrates through him, telling him, "Well, that's just creepy. I don't know who you think I am, but I'm not that person. However, given how today is all sorts of crazy, I won't hold that against you." But she does have a few questions to ask, and if she doesn't like the answers, she'll snap the stupid stick in half. Wally jumps up, taking Linda by the hand, telling her that he can't let her do that. Just run with him into the Speed Force for a bit, it'll all make sense. So after a few moments, Linda says that she doesn't know who he is, but something tells her that he's not going to screw her over. Together, the two of them make their stops to push the darkness back. So much so that the darkness actually releases its grip on the two planets. Finally, the two stop running and Linda shouts, "Phew! Never pushed the limits of speed like that before." It was like something was controlling the Speed Force, and when we were there, I got to see bits of your life and your world. I may never be that Linda, but you know so much about our powers. Maybe when this is over, we could. Wally smiles, telling her that he's sorry. In all of the multiverse, there's only one woman that he loves. Linda kisses him before he goes, telling him good luck, and as he takes off to head to the next incursion point, he crosses over into the next world and he sees that it isn't an Earth at all. It's the first incursion. The statues of fallen heroes all stare at Wally, and Wally shouts, asking, "What is this? Why am I here? Why am I getting the feeling that I was the only person who could pull this off?" A voice from behind says, "Daddy?" And after hearing the familiar voice, Wally races over as he takes his mask off, hugging giant Iris. Iris says, "Daddy, you have to do something for us." And Wally tells her, "Of course, Princess, anything to have you back." And Iris points off into the distance, yelling, "Run!" And that concludes Flash Forward 3 and 4. Now, of all the Flash stories we've gotten in the recent years, this is one of my favorites because it went into worlds like the Vampire Batman world. We got to see President Superman. We got to go over and see his kids, and we're trying to redeem Wally West by making him a hero again. What do you guys think of this? I know some of you guys really hated what was done to Wally in the Heroes in Crisis. So I know that we had to redeem from that, and I feel like this is a great direction to take him to get him back on the right path. But I'm telling you right now, if you don't know how this ends because you're not reading the comic books, you will never see the ending coming. So make sure you subscribe to the channel as we will be concluding Flash Forward next week right here at the Comicstorian channel. Other than that, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button so you can enter into the Speed Force. And I'll see you next time right here.